She physically put me in the bed.
So Hayden Panettiere just mysteriously passes away at age 36, the actress that played in all these movies right here. But take a look at what she said just a few months ago, and then let's look back at this thing, and then let's reevaluate.
Right about a moment in your career where a friend of yours takes you onto a boat, you're led to a room which has an older man in it, and then basically told to perform acts and, you know.
Oh yeah. Until I found myself in predicaments that I realized, like, my perspective completely shifted, and I realized that I was in danger. But by the time I'd realized I was in danger, I was quite literally out to sea. And it was that moment shook me. So it took me, I was shocked. It took me by surprise. And it was led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector and somebody who had my back. And to be walked down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise. And it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man.
So 2 questions. Who was the industry friend? And then who was the famous guy that she set up to unclothed in a bed on the boat for who knows how long? But now, give it a few hours, we'll have She's a Fallen Angel videos and aligning 2 faces that don't line up at all.
Thousands of years old, I understand. Oh, it's been down there since Atlantis. The survivors of Atlantis, some of them went into the Hollow Earth. The entrances are found underneath the pyramids of the world. They had the entrances to the Hollow Earth, and the pyramids were built on top of the entrances. This means the one in Egypt, the one...
If we don't live in a dome, then how can they see this tree's shadow in the sky?
How are we seeing the shadow of the tree from the flashlight when it's the sky?
This doesn't make any sense. How does this not make you think of The Truman Show, where Truman was stuck in an artificial world? Even the clouds were artificially simulated. This shouldn't be possible. This tree should not be casting a shadow like this the way it is. It just doesn't make any sense. Sometimes the Matrix reveals itself in the craziest ways. Stay with me.
You don't know me. If you read this, you'll know me. And when you know me, remember, just don't touch me.
My. Time changes everybody, doesn't it? The man who wouldn't even let someone shake his hand. The man who had to wear a surgical mask and gloves to his book signings went from don't touch me to...
I have this lady that gives me tuggy. Okay. I pay, it's like $25, and I get jobs.
Right. Now, I've been working long and hard as a upcoming cover artist, and I thought, well, who better to start with than Howie Mandel? So I created this new book cover. Here's the deal. Don't touch me, except for tuggies. Howie, I did this for you for free. You're welcome. Now, it was stated that a man who doesn't even allow people to shake his hand contracted COVID from the 2022 Kids' Choice Awards, but it has all of us wondering, maybe, Howie, you contracted it from the tuggies. And at this current time, Howie or his team are actively deleting comments because he's just not fooling anybody anymore. Imagine your stand-up comedy being so awful that you have to pretend to be Bill Murray and What About Bob to get any limelight whatsoever.
The simplest way to put it, I have problems. I worry about diseases, so I have trouble touching things. In public places, it's almost impossible.
And now, Howie, you're going to be in the limelight once again, not only for being a horrible father, a horrible husband, but an absolute sociopath.
Alicia World 101 is convinced it's a poltergeist. The drawers are just the start. He pans the camera across the room to a mattress lying on the floor. And if you watch the corner closely, the surface presses down and compresses, as though an invisible hand has grabbed hold and is pulling it along.
Isn't it weird how every kind of strange, crazy thing that you thought could never happen is actually happening right now? In just about every aspect of life. Every single one. From fires, floods, earthquakes, daily, happening daily, to UFOs being seen in the sky, to the point where if you mention you saw one, happens every day. And then you get into the more day-to-day human aspect, like the economy, the prices of groceries, where people are barely surviving. Yeah, barely surviving. Along with social media itself, where you, the worst of the worst, get a lot of views and get a lot of screen time and are seen by a lot of people, or really the best of the best. The people in between, not so much. It's almost like everything that was predicted in prophecies long ago is happening right now. And it's getting hard to ignore for anybody. Even people who don't believe in that stuff, they can see it coming too. Look, I'm not saying this is the end of things. Not at all. Not even close. I'm just saying maybe people who have these prophecies, who saw the future, thought, this has to be the end. This has to be. Except it's not. It's just what we're going through right now, with more to come. You know, not to be gloom and doom, but do you ever feel this way? Because I feel it every single day now. It's like a wave of terrible stuff just keeps coming, and there's no end in sight, and it's to the point where you can only just laugh or hide. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. Maybe I'm putting stuff together that's not together. But I want to know what you think. Let me know your opinion in the comment section, Booshkies. Shabadoo.
The most dangerous food in your kitchen isn't ice cream, bacon, or even gluten. It's something you use almost every day, something that builds up in your liver, your brain, and your nervous system. It's full of hexane, a solvent also found in gasoline. This substance is rancid, oxidized, and acts like rust inside your body. It can take up to 2 years to be fully eliminated, and the more you cook with it, the more toxic it becomes. It produces byproducts that attack your tissues, worsen inflammation, and over time can lead to internal scarring and fibrosis. It's linked to chronic fatigue, brain fog, sleep problems, and inner restlessness. And yet, most people don't even think about it because this food hides in plain sight. It disrupts your hormones, drains your energy, and keeps you in a constant state of stress. We're talking about industrial seed oils, corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil. These highly processed oils are found in almost everything today, from protein bars to salad dressings. Many are extracted using hexane, a chemical solvent your body cannot process. These oils accumulate in your tissues, cause silent inflammation, and throw your entire system out of...
We are run by satanic pedos who don't want you to understand anything about yourself. That's why they give you endless pleasure and entertainment. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, bills. Everything they do is to keep you looking outside yourself. Because the moment you look within, you start to realize you hold the power of your reality. And they're using us to create their reality. The elites don't do anything. They simply just control our perception. You gain your power back when you start to understand content.
Now, I don't know how true this is, but they're saying that MAGA influencers are starting to wear diapers. You heard what I just said? MAGA influencers are starting to wear diapers because the president, they're saying that the president is wearing diapers. Now, I don't know how true that is either, but look at the video. Now, Carolyn Levitt posted this video. It's not AI, and people are saying that he's wearing a diaper, and that's why they support him. A lot of people are speculating that this is a diaper right here. I don't know. It might be some kind of cushion that he uses to sit down. I don't know what that is. Could be the cut of his suit. Could be the fact that he gained a little bit of weight back there. I don't know. What I do know is this is going viral right now, and a lot of people are speculating that this right there, pause, that's a diaper. And then you have pictures like this. Now, again, I don't know if this is AI, but I'm gonna show you the video one more time, and then you let me know what you think in the comments, because again, I do not know. I'm gonna get out your way. Tell me what you think that is, because I don't know. But a lot of people think, well, you know what they think.
Why did Jesus literally cry out when he told this one parable? Is it likely he was worried about the salvation of the listeners? The most important details are always very subtle. So of course we have the parable of the sower seen in Luke 8, Matthew 13, and Mark 4. And after he tells this parable, and the Bible says that Jesus literally cried out saying, "He that have an ear to hear, let him hear." We'll get to the important details in the parable in just 1 minute. So let's look at this word, cried out. This word in Greek is phoneo. There's also the same word that's used in instant when a rooster is crowing, and also when he was on the cross crying out. So we can tell in this very instance right here, right after he told the parable, that it's very crucial that the listener understands, if they have the ability to understand. So let's see why it's so important. We're not going to go into the first time he says the parable just for sake of time, but we'll go into his explanation for the parable. So he first says that the seed being sown is the word of God, and then there are the seeds that fell by the wayside. And what he says that was people that heard the word, but the devil came so quickly and snatched the word they have heard out of their heart, it says, lest they should believe and be saved. These are people that heard the word but did not have the time to believe the word because the devil stole it out of their heart. And this is not even the crazy part. Now they that are on the rock are they which, when they hear, receive the word with joy, and these have no root, which for a while they do believe, and in time, because of temptation, they fall away. So these people receive the word with joy, and they did believe. But by sin and temptation, they fell away. I don't know why people would want to argue this. Jesus cried out at this saying for a reason. And then, they that which fell among the thorns are they which they've heard go forth and are choked with the cares of riches and pleasures of this life, and bring forth no fruit to perfection. People receive the word, but they're too worried about their check, their money, their worldly cares, that they produce no fruit, no good actions, no good character change. Finally, but that are on the good ground are they which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience, with endurance. You need to be the seed that brings forth good fruit with patience, showing that your life and your heart has changed and that you have been renewed, made a new person. The old creation died through your salvation. Now, why so much controversy on the parables? Well, Jesus told you himself, because the mysteries of the kingdom are for you, but not for them, that they can hear it, but they won't be able to receive it. To the world, it may just sound like belligerent blabbering, but that's because the Spirit has nothing to do with the ways of the flesh. Like Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 18, the message of the cross is foolishness to those that are perishing, but to those of us that are saved, it's the power of God. Now, which seed of the parable are you? Only you know.
Hold up a second, guys. That's not the Queen of Pop. Looking very compromised. Watch this video.
Alright, here we go. Come on over here. Here, you wanna sit up? You wanna make this easier? You can sit on my lap. Michael? Michael? Hi. Okay, okay. Alright, we're in the studio.
Well, it just shows you it doesn't matter how big you become and who you are. We've all got to start somewhere. Now, we all know that this person is major and wouldn't have to do anything like this now. But why is she sat on that man's lap? She was 19 at the time. Look at the state of this guy. Ironically, she was on the phone to the king of pop at the time, if you know who that is. And it's almost like for him making that phone call, she sat on his knee. Weird stuff. I'm sure Jay won't be happy about this video coming out. But you gotta do what you gotta do to make it in this game, don't you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Underwater, but when I said, yeah, the Bible said, but when I said everybody don't understand, we locked in a prison. Right. Listen, I'm gonna say this, but did you know that if you go down under the water, every time you go under the water, you're gonna get to another layer of earth, right? Different earth, with different people and different species, they live underground. And sometimes they come up, right? But I'm just saying this. So it's sort of like, we understand this, but we cannot travel underwater. I keep telling you this, the water fight back, right? I keep telling everybody about the rockfish. The rockfish will eat you. It get close to you, think it's a rock, it's gonna eat you.
A rockfish.
A rockfish. A lot of people don't know what's going on in the ocean, but I'm gonna tell you this about the ocean. The ocean is the home of many species of animals that a lot of people think are animals, but they're not animals. Right? Because, listen, I'm gonna say this. The first thing we do when a nigga acting crazy, we say they acting like an animal, but the animals are smart. Nobody never catch an animal unless the animal wanna get caught. Everybody got a dog right now and their dog is tricking them, right? Everybody got a cat right now. Your cat gonna eat you as soon as you die. A lot of people don't.
Also, what I want to say is when you were talking about yours, actually the character that I play, Cheryl, she died at 35 of heart failure. And when we heard that, we were just like shocked. Me and my mom were sitting there going,
yeah, I can imagine.
Really sad.
In real life, you think he'd be a good dad?
Yeah.
Think so?
That video with Hayden Panettiere was very strange, allegedly. This is what people are saying. I'm not sure who that guy was. He looks familiar. Shut up! He looks familiar, but I can't remember his name. Then she was talking about some character that she played or something like that passed away at the age of 35. Something's going on here, guys, because she passed away at the age of 36. Now, that's pretty close, but not close enough. Something is going on here, guys. Allegedly, this is what people are saying, and they're trying to connect dots that cannot be connected. I think that interview was normal. You know, she was an actor when she was young. That must have been, you know, someone that was coaching her with her acting. Something's going on here, guys, and I don't know what to think anymore because somebody brought this to my attention. I don't know why. I was busy doing something else. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only. Rest in peace to Hayden. This is tragic. She was young. She has so much more life ahead of her. Something is strange about that video. Let me know what you think about this, guys, because I don't know what to think. I'm tired.
This was just recently spotted in the sky over France. This big red-looking jellyfish type thing. Oh, and there's more pictures than just that. Yeah, this was seen over the France. You know, where they eat snails and get offended by French fries? And that is strange, but I think I found out what it is. They're called red sprites, an electric discharge similar to lightning, but they're really high in the atmosphere and they only really last for about a millisecond. We're told they happen all over the place, but let me tell you something. I've been all over the place, not to France, but a lot of places, and I've seen a lot of stuff. Never saw that before. And I'm old. I was around before the internet, before cable TV, before Sheboygan. Well, not that far back. But according to the Google, these red sprites do pop up. It's just it happens so fast, you really can't see them unless you happen to be filming or videoing at the time. So that's something weird I just found out today. You know, along with not being able to actually eat the cheese head. Till next time, shabadoo-booskies, shabadoo.
These fighters are putting on a show, and it seems like it's even more rampant now that these sports book apps are pretty much everywhere. I mean, it really seems like this stuff is more rampant. I mean, you even had the one guy taking time to blow a kiss at the camera while the one guy had him in this hold. I mean, come on. What kind of fight is that? I mean, come on. It's plain as day that all of these fights are predetermined. All of these fights are as fake as the WWE. This fight between these two are no different. All of these fighters are actors. All of these fighters are playing a role. All of these fighters are going according to a script because they rehearse all of this just like the WWE. They rehearse all of this and then go out and put on a show. It's entertainment. That's all that it is.
So within this 3D realm, it does, in a sense, to where if you're giving your energy to something like a 9-to-5, why are they so obsessed with the 9-to-5 and they're printing up the money only to get what? Your energy. Because the people who print the money they don't need the money, right? So why do they? What's the whole point then, right? Because they want your time, your attention, your energy. When you have scrolling, you're doom scrolling. What do they call it? A feed. What are they feeding you? right? So it's your energy, right? So energy management is so important.
Yeah.
And I have him, my other brother, and about 2 or 3 other people. That is it.
Yeah.
Right? In my immediate circle. And then obviously you. But do you have the same?
Can somebody explain how this is possible? How is he already jumping around like this right here? Keep in mind, he tore his ACL and his LCL back in December of 2025, and he's already jumping around like this right here, like nothing ever happened. It's all part of a script with these people every single time. I mean, look at this. No brace, no anything. He's just walking around like everything is fine. Everything is dandy. Nothing happened to him at all, because nothing did happen to him. His injury that he sustained was scripted. And the fact that he's already doing this stuff before the season actually starts should show and tell you all that you need to know. Because there is no way that he should be able to do the stuff that he is doing after suffering the injury that he suffered back in December of 2025. What do you all think about this? Comment down below.
Even in the Old Testament, God refers to himself as a father.
Mhm.
And the Quran says, one thing it says is, the Jews and the Christians say that God is their father. Say Muhammad, then why does he punish you for your sins? So now it's like God is somehow clueless as to why they're calling him, their father.
Mhm.
And yeah, and it's just, yeah, exactly. You cannot refer to Allah as anything except for, like, your master or your creator. You can't call him a father, not even in a metaphorical sense, which is just so contradictory to the Bible.
It's a clear testament that Satan wrote that book, because Satan views us as his slave.
So just think about this for a minute. We get money from a private entity called the Federal Reserve, who prints up not money, but debt, right? It's a bank owned by other banks, the Federal Reserve, right? That's one. Then they give it to the bank gives it to you, you go work for it only to give it back to them. Does that mean you work for free? And you pay taxes as well? And they just print up the debt and you pay taxes? Does that make sense at all? So just that alone, that concept alone of the monetary system is one big sham, because it's all about control. They want your energy, they want your time. It's not about the money, because they took us off the gold standard. Petrodollar's gone. All these other things that gave it value is all gone.
So I think that's why they're having trouble keeping this system together, because it's not sustainable. Over some period of time, it's going to collapse.
Right.
It's like kind of a pyramid. I see it as like a pyramid scheme, basically. The Federal Reserve is at
For
some
sure.
point.
In August 1480, the Ottoman army broke through the walls of a small Italian city called Otranto. They pillaged, looted, and sacked the city. They killed the archbishop at the cathedral, enslaved the women and children, and then gave the surviving men a choice: convert to Islam or die. So in July 1480, an Ottoman fleet commanded by Ghadik Ahmed Pasha arrived at Otranto with somewhere around 90 galleys, 40 galleots, and somewhere between 15,000 and 18,000 troops. The city had been left short of defenders, as the Aragonese garrison had been deployed elsewhere and was left to defend itself with a very small militia of less than 2,000 men. The siege actually only lasted for 15 days, and on the 11th of August, the walls were breached. The people of the city, running in fear, had taken refuge in the cathedral. The Ottomans knocked the door down and were met by Archbishop Stefan Pendanelli, who stood defiantly before them with a crucifix in his hand. He was given a choice: renounce Christianity or face the sword, and he responded by calling on his attackers to convert to Christ instead. He was ripped apart by their scimitars and his head placed on a stake and paraded through the city. Around 12,000 to 20,000 people were killed in the assault, and around 8,000 women and children who survived were enslaved, though modern historians consider these numbers to likely be exaggerated. The men who remained, 813 of them, were gathered together and marched to a hill just outside the city walls called the Hill of Minerva. They were offered their lives if they converted to Islam, but a tailor named Antonio Primaldo issued a response. The chronicler Giovanni Legato, in his Storia della Guerra di Otranto 1480, tells us what Primaldo said. "My brothers, until today we have fought in defense of our country, to save our lives and for our lords. Now it is time that we fight to save our souls for our Lord. So that having died on the cross for us, it is good that we should die for him, standing firm and constant in the faith. And with this earthly death, we shall win eternal life and the glory of martyrs." The men around him cheered, but not one of them lost their nerve and converted. And on the 14th of August, 1480, they were beheaded one by one on the hill of Minerva. What is also recorded by the chroniclers is that an Ottoman officer named Bersabe, witnessing what he had just been a part of, actually converted to Christianity on the spot. He was then immediately impaled by his own men. Ibn Kamal, who was an Ottoman historian, jurist, and eventually Sheikh al-Islam, which was the supreme religious authority of the Ottoman Empire under Suleiman the Magnificent, wrote in his Chronicles of the House of Osman that the slaughter was justified under religious grounds. The city was recaptured the following year by Alfonso of Aragon. The 813 men were beatified in 1771 and canonized by Pope Francis in 2013 as the martyrs of Otranto. The skulls of 813 men who refused to convert are still sitting in a glass case behind the altar of the cathedral where their archbishop was killed. They have been there for 540 years. Otranto has never forgotten their defiance and their sacrifice.
Hayden Panettiere passes away at the age of 36. She's best known for her role as Kirby Reed in the Scream series. What I find interesting is the last time she played the role as Kirby Reed in Scream 6 was 3 years ago. This is what people are saying. And she passes away at the age of 36. 3 6s. This is what people are saying. I don't know why they ever try to put that together. Rest in peace to this young lady. Now, what people are finding very strange is that her childhood home was put back on the market in 2026 for $3.6 million. What is the odds of that? This is what people are saying, and as you can see, I think this is real. She passes away at 36. Her house goes back on the market for $3.6 million. Something is going on here, guys. People are talking about this. And if you ask me, nothing is going on. Rest in peace to this young lady gone too soon. A lot of celebrities passed away this year. That's all I know. I've been seeing it a lot. And I also heard her brother passed away 3 years ago, mysteriously. This is what people are saying. I would not know. I was not there. Rest in peace to Hayden. She was young, full of life, gone too soon. This is wild, guys. Maybe something's going on with this. Maybe it's not. Let me know what you think.
We all know that water finds and seeks level. This is just the nature of water. And there's nothing that we can do to water to make it break that law. So with this being said, let's think about the fact that the Amazon River is over 4,000 miles long. Recent measurements have even stated that it's up to 4,300 miles long. So it is the second largest, and it could even be the largest river in the entire world. So it stretches over 1/7 of the planet's circumference, and it goes from the west side of South America all the way to the east side. It's stretching over 1/7 of the planet's circumference. So it should be going over 1/7 of the planet's curvature. So that means it would be flowing in two opposite directions in the middle. But it's not. It's all flowing in one direction, and we all know that water does not flow upstream. And let's think about the fact that the Suez Canal is over 200 miles long, but it does not drop by a single inch. If you go and actually pay attention to a sunset, you can actually just see that the sun is moving away, moving out of your field of view, because your eyes only allow you to see so far. It's not going over some physical curvature. If water was curving, we would have evidence for that. And no, gravity is not magically making it happen. It's called parallel perspective, where all parallel lines from every direction appear to intersect in your center field of view. And that creates the artificial horizon. That's how a camera lens works, but you can see further when you zoom in with a camera. That is just how our ocular nerves perceive light. But I made this video entirely for entertainment purposes only.
Guys, there is a drug-resistant fungus that is spreading across America right now. It's already officially in 27 different states, and the CDC has already listed it an urgent threat. The fungus is called Candida auris, and the CDC is reporting over 3,000 cases across 27 different states so far just in 2026 alone. California alone has 873, then Texas at 433, then Tennessee, Ohio, Georgia, Louisiana, Illinois, and Arizona. They're saying that it's hitting people on ventilators, feeding tubes, and catheters, and the fungus sits on bed rails and doorknobs for weeks because the usual hospital cleaners don't work on it. After just one patient in New York, they tested the room, and the walls, the bed, the curtains, and the ceiling all came back positive, so they ripped out the ceiling and floor tiles. People are able to carry this on their skin for months with zero symptoms and pass it onto someone else without ever even knowing. Over 90% of the samples don't respond to the antifungal that doctors would normally reach for, and a few strains now don't respond to any of the 3 classes that we have. This fungus showed up in 3 different continents back in 2009, basically at the same time, but nobody has figured out why.
You don't need food, you need charging. There are many different ways you can charge the body, like grounding or standing next to trees. You are a biological battery. When you are hungry, this is not hunger, this is your digestive system getting rid of waste and toxins from the body. It's important that you fast because after 2 days of fasting, your body produces stem cells to regenerate the body. The more toxic your body is, the more sleep you need. You don't need 8 hours. This is real food. Humans possess trichromatic vision, which means their brains are wired to seek color, just like every other herbivore animal. Our brains are wired to seek electrical, colorful food, which charges us, not dead, rotting flesh. Foods are either acidic or alkaline. Acidic foods promote cellular deconstruction, which destroys your cells. Alkaline foods promote construction of your cells. Every 90 days, your cells are brand new. You can regenerate your body just by eating the correct food. Food is designed to grow on trees and from the ground, not on legs running away from.
Here is proof that meteors are actually not meteors at all. I've been telling you guys this for years. By the way, this proof is not one individual, it's many. So this is a meteor, right? Okay, well, does it have a mind of its own? Because somehow it's able to divide itself up between 8, 9, 10 different meteors. And then every single one of these meteors has a mind of its own and go in whatever direction it wants to. And remember, it all started from one singular meteor. So let's debunk the trash as I show you even more stuff. So 1, obviously it's not skydivers. We saw one singular thing turn into many different things and morph right in front of us. 2, it's not space debris. If it's all was going the same direction, then changed into 10 different copies and went into all different directions. By the way, check out what this account just saw over the beach. And then of course we saw the green meteor again, multiple different locations by the way. The same meteor that went over Spain as the Devil's Comet right around the eclipse, then everything got destroyed a few days later. So like I said before, is it really the Devil's Comet or is it just the freaking devil? Now really quick before we get into the second video, or find the pinned comment below, follow the instructions. And then we have this other spiritual apparition or apparatus in the sky. And of course, like the other one, this is able to duplicate itself and turn to many different flying objects all in different freaking places. Remember when this happened every single week about a year ago? And every single time they're like, oh, it's space debris. We're seeing very real angels and fallen angels in the sky, and they're covering up with, you know, Blue Origin, which of course is a giant ritual. Look at this freaking rocket. What does it look like to you? SpaceX and every other agency out there. And by the way, this did not just start with our generation. This goes all the way back to ancient Egypt and Maya. They've always been watching these deities, these lowercase g gods. They've always been watching them in the sky, and that's what they are. They're the same gods from the beginning of the Bible. The same exact reason they do these rituals when they see these things in the sky. But yeah, I'm the crazy one, right?
Late at night, when 2 girls are home alone, having what appears to be a sleepover at either girl's place, it's unknown whose house was hosting this mini slumber party, but whether hosted by the girl recording this or the one who's seen on camera, it's safe to assume that they won't be having any more sleepovers at this house. As the video shows, something pretty creepy was captured while both girls stayed up late.
Walking really funny.
Now the girl talking behind the camera is known as K. Marie, and she took this video way back when she was still attending grade school. It's been more than a few years now since the time of this recording, but still, to this day, she hasn't forgotten about this. As K. Marie writes, me and my cousin are messing around and we caught something strange. This is her video. Take a look.
And go over there and then go like, ooh. Dude, what the heck, man? Who are you? Hello? Who's that? Did you guys see that?
It happens quickly, but a strange, translucent-like figure passes by. Little K. Marie knew that she saw something, but wasn't entirely sure what it was. Almost immediately after asking, "Who are you?" a seemingly translucent, wispy-like figure flies above her head.
Dude, what the heck, man? Who are you? Hello? Who's that?
It just shoots across so fast that you can't make out its shape. Whatever this was is just weird. But this wouldn't be the only weird thing recorded, because much later, K. Marie captures this.
That. Did you guys see that? Come on. Come here. Come here.
A voice saying "come here" is heard on video. It's a barely audible voice sounding much like a whisper that seems to be aimed at K. Marie. Although she didn't hear it at the moment, she strangely repeats those same words herself moments later.
Come here.
It's unknown as to where this voice came from or why she repeated those same words, but nothing is as baffling as what occurs next. It was just moments earlier that this was caught in the living room. Watch closely.
Hello from the other side. Getting really funny.
On the surface of this TV screen, a reflection of something moving appears out of nowhere. Mind you though, that K. Marie is sitting down during this time, and her cousin is in the other room. If no one else was home, then who was this? And why is it that this is seen and not the flash from K. Marie's phone? As she points out, the screen showed no reflection of the camera flash or the light from inside the room behind her. In short, nothing that night made any sense. It's for this reason that she shares this video so that someone can explain this. While there has yet to be a definitive explanation, she continues to wonder just what exactly happened that night.
Hello from the other side.
If you were ever curious about the first person that ever sold their soul to the devil, this is the story for you. Tell me more! This is the story about Leonard Butler. He's the first known, supposedly known person that sold himself, that sold his soul so that he could play a professional sport. That professional sport was basketball. So here's how it goes. So Leonard's playing in the gym at midnight. The doors fly open out of nowhere and he's wondering who is here at the gym at this hour. Nobody's ever here. A guy in a trench coat walks in and starts talking to him. He says, "Leonard, I know all about you. I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to be successful in basketball. What would you think if I could get you?" Of course, Leonard is confused. He's wondering, how can this guy get me there? The guy talks to him for quite some time saying, "Listen, I have a contract here. If you sign this contract, I will ensure that you will make it to the NBA and you will be successful in the sport of basketball." A little reluctant, Leonard didn't think this was true. However, he decided he was going to go ahead and sign the contract because he greatly wanted to be successful in the NBA. So he signs the contract, the man leaves the gym, and he continues playing basketball. He heads home for the night, goes to bed, wakes up the next morning, grabs his mail, and the first thing he sees is a letter saying, "You're invited to this specific camp that many people are constantly fighting to get into," and somehow he was invited. But what he finds strange is the man that he had just talked to the night before, he cannot recollect how this man's face looks. He just remembers he had a trench coat on. Now he's really not focused on that. What he's focused on is going to this camp. He goes to this camp, things go well. Anyway, going forward, all of a sudden he makes the varsity team. His skills are greatly improving day after day. Eventually he ends up getting a scholarship at Duke. Goes and plays at Duke for several years and then eventually ends up making it to the NBA. He's playing in the NBA, but the problem is once he makes it to the NBA, he starts accumulating injury. He is getting injured so often that he doesn't know how much longer he's going to play. But the crazy thing is he keeps playing year after year. Till now he is getting too old, he feels, to play. He starts begging teams to let him play. And the reason he is begging teams to have him play is because he's been having dreams about the conversation that he had with the gentleman with the trench coat all those years ago. And he's realizing what he agreed to was if he ever stops playing basketball, his soul will be given to that person, meaning he will cease to exist any longer. So he's begging these teams, please keep me on, please keep me on. But eventually he just is getting too old, he's not that good anymore, and he just keeps racking up the injury. So eventually the team cuts. He's devastated, he goes home, he doesn't know what's going to happen, he's terrified. He ends up just staying in his house for like a week straight until somebody comes knocking on his door. He answers the door, and it ends up being the same man in the trench coat he had seen all those years ago and made this deal with, saying that his soul would be given away if he stopped playing basketball. He answers the door, the man says, do you remember our conversation we had years ago? He says, yes, I do recall, and his face turned completely pale, and he says, what are we going to do about this? The man just turns around and walks away. He closes the door, doesn't know what to do. About a week later, he ends up passing away from a massive heart attack. Allegedly, this is the first person that sold their soul to become famous and to become a star in a sport. Oh, good.
You're either going to stay in the matrix, watch television, watch news, stay involved in politics, pretend politics is really going to help your life, or whatever this president, the last president, the next president are really there to serve us. They're not. You're either going to go, oh yeah, whatever my favorite pop star says is what I should listen to. I put them on the altar. You know, people pointing fingers at one another saying, oh, this is a cult, this is a cult. It's a cult if you put someone on an altar and you believe everything they say and you know nothing about them except for their presentation to you, whether it's their music, whether it's their political views and their political statements that they said. They're not idols, not even close to it. The idols in our life are the ones that inspire our lives. Your mother, if she's there for you, your father, your children, your neighbor, the people that have lifted you up in your lifetime. Those are the ones that are going to help us get through this all. And to me, that's escaping the matrix.
Deanna Sudi and her brother are freaking out after seeing many police cars pulling up to their backyard.
One, that now there's
Looks like there's another one.
There's another one? Oh, you're right. What the hell is... Here.
Look, I was...
It appears that all the policemen are checking out this trailer. Something about it must be worth examining because, as it seems, a lot of cops are going inside. According to Diana, the trailer belongs to her father and he's been renting it out to someone. However, the person living inside has not left the trailer for more than a week, which is why the police are here. They're conducting a welfare check to see if the man inside is okay, but upon checking, they discovered something rather unfortunate.
He's not coming out. They're doing a check.
The man had passed away. Now it's worth mentioning that during this recording, Diana and her brother didn't know the man had passed. They were just recording all the commotion that was going on in their backyard. But as they got closer to the trailer, Diana captures something that she can't explain. The following is her footage. Watch closely.
I'm
right there, right there. Wait, they're going up to Tom's place. So wait, you said the light wasn't off.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew something was going on. Oh, that's a lot of cops.
Holy shit, what the hell?
They're coming out.
Are they calling something in? Going back over. What was Tom doing?
Is there like an app you can check or something to figure out?
Neither Diana nor her brother had noticed the small figure. They don't recall ever seeing the silhouette from the recording, which makes them think that it was never there to begin with. However, the video shows otherwise. Something was actually there, but for some reason, they couldn't see it in person. But of course, the strangest part about this is the figure itself. At some point, the figure disappears behind a policeman.
That's a lot of cops.
To Diana, this might explain why the silhouette was completely elusive to them. Now, while this whole incident creeps her out, it doesn't compare to what happens when she and her father decide to go inside the trailer a few days after this occurrence. But Diana regrets helping him because, while checking it out, this happens.
Oh. You brought your phone?
Yeah. Hey.
Get ready. Could be a little smelly.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh my god. Jeez. Oh my god. Oh my god. What was that?
A lifeless crow suddenly falls out from an open cabinet, scaring the living daylights out of Diana. Although not sure how it just suddenly fell out, she has no words for what she finds while being inside the trailer. What she uncovers has left her beyond spooked. Watch.
Whoa. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, Jesus. Wait, did this guy have a kid? What is this?
Yeah, this kid died too, like, I don't know, before. A long time ago.
While it may seem like nothing significant, these handprints are the reason why Diana hasn't been able to come back to this trailer. It didn't immediately click for her, but after going home and watching this video, she quickly sent it to her brother, who then told her exactly what she was thinking. While looking back at the video she took days before, she couldn't help but notice the size of the figure. Its stature is similar to that of a child's. Could it be, as Diana thinks, that the figure may have been the spirit of the man's child? Given what occurred on this night, she feels that its appearance was unlikely to be a coincidence.
What is this?
Yeah, this kid died too, like down before, a long time ago.
As with all videos, I'll let you be the judge on whether or not something paranormal was captured. But for now, this video remains a mystery.
Which one of the charges against, or all of them, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of?
The specific charge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah. Can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges that he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course. But I want to make sure that we have them listed.
Yeah, but like can you name one? Because my general perspective is that you don't actually care about this case. You're not following the case.
That's the question. You're just not following it enough.
It seems pretty, like, if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty, I just think that you should, like,
right.
Can you tell me one
Then let's do the
charge
counter.
that he's...
You can really, this is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play clips out of context, put me in the hot seat. So please just answer the question.
This is fair. Name all 7 since you've been following the case.
Okay, sure. You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like
name all 7.
And I
can you name all 7?
I can.
Then do it.
Sure. You don't have to
do it. No, do it. I'll count them. Go ahead.
You don't have to put your fingers up.
Okay, hang on. Name them.
Yeah, sure.
Name them.
The first charge is aggravated murder because that's what carries a death sentence in the state of Utah. No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
Aggravated murder, it's narrowly defined, and because it carries a death sentence. I'm going to answer the question.
Okay,
You're just going to recognize that your strategy of thinking that people are intimidated when you try to put a time constraint doesn't work, and you'll be better the next time you debate someone.
I got it. It sounds like you're just delaying it because you don't know them.
I know all 7 of them,
Then
and I'm going to say
them.
again, because you're going to get embarrassed, you don't have to rush this. I'm also showing an example of a very flawed debate strategy. I actually am under no time constraint.
I got one.
Great. The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon. The next 2 charges are for obstruction of justice.
Okay.
The next 2 charges are for witness tampering. And
what's the specific charges, though?
That is them. Obstruction of justice, obstruction of justice, witness tampering. See, the bad thing is when you try to be an a-hole and it doesn't work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
When you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone. Here you go. PBD, you're the moderator. Take it.
Let's
see if anyone was texted at all during this debate.
All right.
About the violent charges or anything.
I'm looking through this. You give me permission.
You have full permission to go through my phone. I don't need to cheat.
So the last one has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's a compliment.
He's reading them.
You're okay. You'll give me permission.
Yes.
I'm just going to read 3 of them to 1132 because after that, I don't need to read it.
I don't need to, I deeply care about this case. I don't need to pretend to know stuff that I don't know.
Plus the fact that there is contamination inside these vaccines, it stunned me. It stunned me that the field that we had developed, this ability to reduce the cost of DNA sequencing 100,000-fold in 5 years, which occurred with many of the great scientists here in this community, was never used on the vaccine. They injected it into 5 billion people with 13 billion doses. That's an enormous risk to the human population to take something you've never sequenced, inject it into everybody, and hope things come out right. That might be the largest Darwin Award our species ever sees. When you understand what's in these vaccines, you'll come to recognize why. When we sequenced these, we found out there were still manufacturing DNA in these vaccines that were not supposed to be there. Something that's known as an SV40 plasmid that is used in gene therapy that tends to integrate DNA into your genome. This is particularly in the Pfizer vaccine. It's not in Moderna, but both vaccines are showing excess DNA that is well over the regulatory limits. And in addition to this, it's in a compartment, a lipid nanoparticle that makes it 100 times more toxic. It gets into your cells and triggers carcinogenic pathways. So this is a major oversight, and the FDA has known about this for 2 years. It's only recently have they taken some notice because our paper got finally peer-reviewed and published and been replicated about 10 other times. But now that we know that this DNA is contaminating these things, we're starting to see it get put into the congressional record with Senator Ron Johnson. We're seeing it get brought up to the ACIP committees now. They're taking this very, very seriously, but it's too late. We missed. Why did they miss? They missed because they have absolutely zero liability. They do not care about quality. They never will. So until you put liability onto these vaccines, they're going to have an avenue to inject your children with poison for the rest of eternity and have no accountability for this. All right, this is absolutely manufacturing slop gone off the rails. This is something that absolutely needs to be addressed. The remaining time, I want to point you to Japan. Okay, Japan has gotten the most of these vaccines. 80% of them are vaccinated. 13% of the country has gotten 7 vaccines. They are at a stage now where the excess mortality in Japan, directly coincident with the vaccination program, is now greater than the tsunami in Hiroshima combined. They will never recover from this. You cannot be mandating liability-free experimental injections into other people. We cannot have an avenue where the government and pharmaceutical companies can collude to inject you with things that are never been quality checked. Quality checking as small as a USB drive is all that was required to avoid this, and it was skipped. And it was skipped because of mandates, because of liability waivers, because people are afraid of a cold. They want to inject their neighbors' babies with stuff. This is sheep-like behavior. It's unconstitutional, and it has to end. Thank you.
This has got to be one of the creepiest things a student's ever told a teacher. I worked with students who had emotional disabilities. This student was violent every single day. I eventually started dreaming that he was crawling out of my bedroom mirror at night to come sit on my chest. One day at school, he looked at me and said, "You snore funny when you sleep." That's not a student. That's a...
As most of us know, actress Hayden Panettiere has passed away at the age of 36 years old. I cannot tell you how heartbreaking this is, but also how livid this makes me. There were a lot of things that she was exposed to at a very young age that she shouldn't have been exposed to, things that she went through, a lot of trauma that she didn't need to endure. And as she got older and her life went on, it was very evident how much this trauma had affected her as she became almost unrecognizable. There were a lot of people in the industry, male and female, that she trusted that ended up betraying her tremendously. Times were just 18 years old. She was lured onto a yacht by a trusted friend, I wonder who, forced in bed with an older man in an attempt to take advantage of her. And in doing a little bit more investigating online, you just wonder how frequently this happened to her. Hanging all over older men like Quincy Jones while they hang all over her. And I know a lot of you in my comment sections are going to say, well, look how happy she is. Look at her smiling. She has done multiple interviews talking about how she had to act her way through the trauma. There is no place that this is normalized other than in Hollywood. I'd also noticed how Perez Hilton posted about her trauma over and over and over again, which leads me to wonder, what did he know that we didn't? And what celebrities was Perez close to that Hayden was close to in her younger years as well? There were also a lot of articles that were being published about the exposure that Hayden Panettiere was going to have on Hollywood. Even a book she was releasing called This Is Me, The Reckoning. And it also makes you wonder what roles the media plays as well when they are posting indecent or embarrassing photos of young celebrities. And so many of you get so angry with me and so defensive when I post before and after photos of celebrities when all I am showing is just how much trauma can affect a person and shine some limelight on it when no one else is going to be a voice for them. And although Hayden isn't here to suffer any longer, my heart absolutely breaks for her, as I found her to be one of the most beautiful celebrities in Hollywood, inside and out. This is absolutely devastating.
Could have been a literal warning shot. Like, hey, we're not going to miss next time, so do X, Y, and Z.
Did you look into that ear thing?
Yeah.
They talk about how that's like some kind of, what is it, like a sacrificial...
Yeah.
I think Sam Tripoli was telling us about that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like nicking of the ears. I don't know all the details. I was hoping you would know.
Yeah. I've heard about that, actually. It is some type of...
like ritualistic.
A ritualistic type of thing. Right. So, again, that just adds more credence. So I'm like, maybe that was a literal warning shot to where it's like, hey, next time we won't miss. So you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Right? So I think that what we're going into is that, again, the technocrats, I think they've already taken over. Okay. Because They have AI. They have all the data they need. They have all the money that they need. And I think the old shadow government just can't keep up at this point, right? They covered so much ground so fast. So they don't need a POTUS.
I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this, but eating fast food on a regular basis is going to put you in an early grave. And this time, KFC has a lot of explaining to do. And why do I say that? Because a woman in Ohio who ventured into a KFC to get some of their chicken nuggets got home to take a bite of her food. And take a look at what she found. Have a listen to this.
I'm literally shaking. I'm so mad. I act like I'm lying.
Just look at that.
Shocked him. KFC first gave me cold chicken.
That's uncooked chicken. Forget about being cold. That's raw.
Raw chicken, and I fucking chewed up a piece like an idiot. I should have checked it first. Excuse my mouth. I'm posting this on the Coshocton page. You guys cannot be serious.
Unbelievable.
Took my name. You took my name so they could let me have a free meal, because this is what I want to go back and eat here. That's what I want.
You saw that. Every single piece. Not only cold, but uncooked raw chicken. Battered. Once again, what in the world is going on with quality control at fast food restaurants? Apparently, nothing. So once again, if you continue to eat fast food, especially uncooked and raw, not only should they start counting their days, you should start counting yours as well. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to.
I linked with this really, really big producer. He referred to himself in third. All demons refer to themselves in third person. Every really dark soul I've ever met does that. He wouldn't make eye contact with nobody. He moved funny, and he was just degrading every human that he came across and just speaking in ways that like it felt like a demon. There was definitely times where I'm like, oh, this is what they be talking about. And then you look around the room and it's almost like everybody's sedated. It feels like everybody is sedated and manipulated to the point where like they can't speak. As Mr. Independent, like I got invited to a lot of stuff. And so I would pull up, and a lot of stuff you can't post. Phones at the door, you cannot post. So I got invited to a lot of stuff here and there where like you go in, and that was always the vibe. It was like there's King Dingaling and their minions, and everyone else felt sedated. And you walk in full of life, and it's almost like, yo, tone it down. You don't understand. We're under the thumb right now. There was definitely times where like you walk in a room and you feel that. And for me, it was always just like, cool, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, gone.
Y'all can honestly tell me that you don't see nothing strange going on with the weather. Okay, so if nothing ain't wrong with the weather, then how is it possible that people in Colorado, Englewood, Colorado, are posting videos of it snowing and a hailstorm in the middle of August? It is summertime, but you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. This is yesterday. This is in Colorado. This is in the summertime. But that ain't it. Tell me what's going on with this.
I would say yeah.
This is August right here.
Not just snow. It's hail. Take a look at this.
Look.
So this is Colorado.
Look.
That's snowplow. That's not snow.
That's hail.
Hail that came down from a storm.
That is hail. 3 feet of, come on now. Come on now. Mind you, they said it went from 90 degrees to the conditions that you just seen. And y'all can still say ain't nothing going on with this weather. Y'all still say you don't see the patterns. Or maybe you do see them and you just can't say nothing about it. Yeah, okay. Pay attention.
Bien, buenas noches. Hoy es domingo 23 de mayo del año 2021. Son las 23:02 de la noche. Me encuentro en la ciudad de Santiago de Chile. Soy profesora y me tuve que vacunar. Vacuna Sinovac, las 2 dosis, 1 de marzo y el 29 de marzo. Hace más o menos 15 días me di cuenta de que estaba ocurriendo un efecto magnético en muchas personas vacunadas en el brazo donde se hizo la inoculación. Empecé a experimentar y me di cuenta que se me pegaban varios elementos metálicos, imanes, monedas de 10 pesos, clip, cucharas, tenedores. Pero el que más me ha sorprendido de todos ha sido el teléfono celular. Quiero dejar constancia de que no hay nada bajo mi brazo, imanes, no hay pegamentos. Mi teléfono no tiene pegamento alguno, está completamente liso. Todos los demás también con los que vamos a hacer la prueba. Y resulta que, para mi sorpresa, también se me pega el teléfono celular. Y no solo uno, sino los dos. Quiero dejar constancia, registro, pedir explicaciones porque esto no es normal. Ah, y si lo colocara más abajo, él se va a caer. De hecho, lo voy a soltar. Gracias.
This is a video with a disturbing backstory. And I want you to remember their faces too, bro. That's the other person that's with them. The context of that video is that it's just people that went to an after party after a wedding. 2 years later, in 2012, that video resurfaces, right? And it's because there's this guy, his name is Asfal Koistani. He held a press conference and he's basically claiming that each of the women in that video had suffered horrible deaths because of the video. And the reason why it's such a big deal is because one, the video was never meant to be seen by the public at all. It was just meant to stay on the guy's phone who recorded it, right? And two was because even though in our eyes it's like nothing out of the ordinary, bro, but this video was shot somewhere where like they have major strict rules
and they're hanging out with two guys.
Yes,
it kind of makes sense as to why one of them was reacting the way they were reacting,
like covering the face kinda. So Asphalt was claiming that all the women in that video were all locked up in like this closet-sized prison, and every single day they would wake up to oil being poured on them, and also I think hot water to the point where like their skin would bubble up, and then at night they would get thrown like hot coal and rocks that they would use from the fires and shit. A couple days after they locked up these women, one by one they took them out of their cell and they them by slitting their throats. And the only reason why he's going so hard for this case was because the two guys that were in the video were his brothers.
But nothing happened to them?
Those two went into hiding because they were also going to be sentenced to death as well because they also broke rules. After this whole thing was brought up at the press conference, it brought attention to the Pakistan government, so they decided to do an investigation. They basically sent out investigators because one of the main leaders, he was basically claiming that whatever Asphalt was saying was completely bull. That these women are alive. Now it was spread all over the news that whatever Asphalt was saying was, and that the 4 girls were found alive. And they basically dropped the case. Years passed, but Asphalt, he never gave up on like trying to find the actual truth, right? He tries his best to go on like interviews on like news outlets, shows, but again, the police or the people don't really take it too serious. Conspiracies started coming up saying that what if the main leader of the Jirga had this whole plan with the entire village to set up decoys or actors that look like the girls to basically make him look like he's crazy. And his whole story ended up going on. Do you know that channel Vice on YouTube? Which now it's worldwide. They reopen it again, and this time they tell them like, make sure you have the women that were quote unquote found alive present in the courtroom. Court day comes, it ended up not being the actual woman, bro. Like the girls that arrived at the court.
Disconnected.
So Tartaria is true.
100%.
And what's the deal with that? Why? How is it?
We think we're told we're at the peak of civilization. We're literally in the ending credits of Idiocracy right now. There was an advanced civilization here just a couple hundred years or less ago.
Who were they, Dave?
I don't. You can call them the Tatarian Empire. We're told they're the Mongolian Empire.
Were they genetically different?
I don't know. Maybe. I think there's a lot of people that are genetically.
Were they taller?
There are definitely some taller people.
If it was a tall woman, does she have a big pussy?
There's giants, maybe.
Is that related to mud flood?
That's related. I mean, there's pictures and video of, them digging out buildings and cities all over the world. The Transcontinental Railroad wasn't laid down. It was excavated. Every movie, all the old movies where they show working on the railroad, they got all the black people and white people, no, nothing there, working on the railroad. What did they have? Did they have railroad building tools, or did they have shovels and pickaxes? They had shovels and pickaxes because they were excavating.
Okay. When people try to debunk Tartaria in particular, what do they say?
Yeah, they say that the Tartaria was just a place in Russia. I don't like calling it Tartaria because I don't know if the whole world was called Tartaria. There definitely was a Tartarian Empire. We found it. It still exists. The buildings are still there. So I call it the Old World.
Okay. The sinking of the Titanic, is that related to the resistance against the Federal Reserve or whatever?
Very good, 100%.
Okay. Denver Airport, what's that, a hub of child trafficking?
Well, I don't know there's child trafficking everywhere.
Is it a satanic nexus?
There's a lot going in the underworld. The Cheyenne Mountain where we have NORAD, that was an old world underground.
So you're talking about almost like city-level structures underground.
I think there's more underground than there is above ground. That's how big it is. And everywhere they find something big, they quickly put a military base there and say nobody can go there. And they, like in Iraq, they found the tomb of Gilgamesh, and this does not fit in our timeline. We invaded Iraq and we built a military base on top of it and poured cement over the whole thing.
Yeah, fucking better.
There you go.
You want to let that guy come back to life?
Yeah, that's a good point. Another thing they do is when they build dams, from the Hoover Dam to dams in Egypt, dams in China, that bury all of these sites that don't fit in our timeline. Just one quick example. In Egypt, they built a dam that covered up 1,300 sacred sites that do not fit our timeline and have no explanation. So they put them under hundreds of feet of water, and then they said nobody can scuba dive there because they don't want anybody to mess up the historical sites that they just buried in water.
Do you think the Earth is hollow?
I think that there's a lot of underworld on the flat Earth, but I think the hollow Earth is just another rabbit hole to get you to think you live on a bowl.
So Tartaria is true, 100%. And what's the deal with that? Why?
Have you guys heard of the Black Hole of Calcutta?
No.
The Black Hole of Calcutta, June 20th, 1756. India at the time, they had governors or rulers of different sections of India. And there was this new ruler named Siraj-ud-Daulah. In Calcutta, the Brits, they set up their own fort called Fort William, not paying taxes on goods that they're taking out of India, bleeding Calcutta dry. So Siraj raises an army of 50,000 people. They surround the fort. The guy in charge of Fort William fled. There's no one in charge of Fort William now. So they elect this guy, John Howell. They're overtaken pretty instantly. So they captured 146 soldier prisoners. And they're like, well, we need a place to hold them at night. Siraj's men was like, let's go hold them in that cell. So they marched 146 soldiers down to the dungeon and placed them in a jail cell. This room was 18 feet by 14 feet. They said it was literally suffocating. So people were like trying to jump up and breathe out of the window. As that was happening, people were like getting thrown to the ground. So they stayed there all night. And in the morning, the guards opened the door. Only 23 soldiers survived.
Oh!
Holy shit. John Howe, he survived it, and he's the one that wrote about it. It took him 20 minutes to get out of the room because of the stacks of dead bodies that he had to crawl over.
How dense it was.
How long do you think he could last? In that room? Yeah. 5 seconds. Maybe, not even that.
Did you see that he actually made, it's an unreleased song. The thing with the Tesla. It's called Trapped in a Tesla. Yes. Trapped in a Tesla. No, that has to be AI. I don't think that's real. You don't think it's real? Okay, low-key sounds real though. That's actually crazy. No, that's insane. And then this one's called Losing Control. This is another unreleased. What the? These are right after what people think is when David left.
I played it for her in the car. She was like, Dave, this song is too violent. You talking about people in your music? No, not my son. I was like, wait, I might be honest.
This is what a mimic looks like when it actually manifests. This boy was using his mum's laptop for work when he discovers a deeply horrifying video on it.
I just found a really weird video on my mom's computer. so scared right now. I'm really scared.
What looks like his mum is seen with her head twisted to the side with black eyes, smiling ominously and even whispering without moving its lips. The boy quickly comes off the video as his mum enters the room, scared to confront her about it, but eventually he decides to question her on the video.
What's that weird video on your computer?
Something I found on the web.
Have you been on the internet a lot?
Till my eyes glaze over.
I didn't know you were into like creepy videos like that though.
I thought it was sort of calming.
His mum doesn't explain the video and says it helps her feel calm, so maybe she's already been affected by it.
Mom, what's going on, Mom? Stop, please.
So how many astronauts did not only the U.S. launch into space before 1961? You know, that either exploded or were completely lost in space or burn up into the atmosphere when they re-entered. You know, I think about time frames. On July 29th of 1958, President Dwight Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, which legally created NASA. And then October 1st of that same year, NASA officially began operations. It essentially absorbed the existing NACA organization and parts of several military and research programs. You know, and obviously after collecting all of Jack Parsons' satanic rocket fuel research. And then late 1958, NASA immediately began work on Project Mercury, America's first human spaceflight program. And it wasn't until May 1961 that we actually launched Alan Shepard into space. I think not only the US, but a lot of other countries actually launched way more people into space, and they just didn't tell us because it wasn't successful. And I don't want to even get started on the absolutely inhumane things that they did to animals when they launched them into space, because they didn't care if they made it back. You should go down the rabbit hole of what radio operators were picking up during that time between 1958 and 1961, and why the space race just kind of ended for so long, and it's just now been picking back up over the last 10 years, at least publicly announced space race.